Hello, and thank you for joining me for another episode of the Windy City Nitty Gritty Podcast. I'm your host, Walter Hefner, and on this episode, talking about I got breaking news for everyone. Now, there was a previous episode that I did about the Vice TV documentary series Dark Side of the Ring, where they're doing an episode about the Chris Benoit double murder suicide. Now comes breaking news out of Canada from this past weekend, where Vice TV cameras and crews were up in Canada filming and interviewing Dr. Martha Hart. For those that may or may not remember, Dr. Martha Hart is the widow of former WWE wrestler Owen Hart. Owen Hart is the brother of WWE Hall of Famer Bret the Hitman Hart, as well as Owen is the uncle of WWE women's wrestler Natalya. So again, Vice TV had their camera and crew out there interviewing Dr. Hart, and come to find out that there will be an episode of Dark Side of the Ring chronicling Owen Hart's untimely passing. And just to give you a little background about Owen Hart, again, he is the younger brother of Bret the Hitman Hart. He is the youngest out of 12 siblings from the Hart family. He trained in the Hart Dungeon with his father, Stu Hart. And Owen will go on to have a career all across the world. Most notably, a lot of us may remember him for his WWE run. His first run as the Blue Blazer, where he wrestled the late Mr. Perfect at WrestleMania 5. He even had a brief stint in WCW in the early 90s before he would return to WWE, and he would form a tag team with his brother-in-law, the late Jim the Anvil Neidhart, the New Foundation. From there, he would go on and form a tag team with Coco Beware, known as High Energy. But from there, after those tag teams, that's when Owen's career really took off. He would win the WWE King of the Ring, becoming the King of Hearts, Owen Hart, as well as he won the Intercontinental Championship, the European Championship, as well as the Tag Team Championship. So again, the Season 2 episode will be about Owen Hart, and unfortunately Owen passed away in 1999 performing a stunt at the WWE Over the Edge pay-per-view. It was an accident that happened while doing his ring entrance. Now, at the time, Owen was also performing again as the Blue Blazer as a comedy thing that he was doing. So it was like during that time period, 1 minute you would see him as Owen Hart, the next minute he would run out as the Blue Blazer. A couple of times he got unmasked, and Owen being the guy that made us laugh as he is, just having to look a shotgun on his face as to being the Blue Blazer. But the thing about the Blue Blazer entrance is this time Owen was being lowered down to the ring from the rafters of the arena. So with that gimmick, he would call himself getting entangled within the harness, and then at a certain point when he would reach the ground, release himself from the harness. So at that pay-per-view Over the Edge back in 1999, Owen Hart was scheduled to face the Godfather for the Intercontinental Championship. But as Owen was being lowered to the ring from the rafters of the arena, he fell. Unfortunately, there was an incident where he hit the quick release on the harness mechanism too soon, and he fell from 78 feet and landed chest first on the top rope. So with him being lowered down, it unintentionally triggered an early release. So, and unfortunately, at the time when he hit chest first, the medics were out scrambling to ringside trying to revive him and see what's going on. And then, we got the unfortunate news from the announcers that Owen had passed away, and unfortunately WWE had continued the pay-per-view that Sunday night. And then the next Monday night on Raw was a Monday Night Raw that was dedicated to Owen Hart and his memory. You heard from various wrestlers such as The Rock, Mark Henry, Edge, just to name a few of the wrestlers that have remarks about him. But after the incident, that's when Owen's wife, Dr. Hart, had filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the WWE. And this occurred 3 weeks after Owen Hart's death. So we come to find out that in November of 2000, WWE and Dr. Hart settled out of court for $18 million in the wrongful death lawsuit. As well as we come to also find out that out of that $18 million that she received from that wrongful death lawsuit, that she gave $2 million of that to Owen's parents, the late Stu and Helen Hart. And also we come to find out that, Dr. Hart has been adamant about not allowing Owen to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. In December of 2000, she created an organization in his honor, the Owen Hart Foundation. Now, this is a charity that provides college and university scholarships for children in need, as well as housing for low-income families. So in the midst of everything that happened with the wrongful death lawsuit, the relationship between her and the rest of the Hart family became strained, and she ended up separating herself from a majority of the Hart family. So at this point in time, we come to find out that, she was filmed for the documentary Dark Side of the Ring. So there will be an episode that they do about Owen Hart. So besides Dr. Martha Hart being interviewed, they also interviewed Owen's daughter, Athena Hart. Now, they did have 2 children, their daughter Athena as well as their son Oj. So not sure if he had been interviewed as well, but we do know for sure Dr. Martha Hart had been interviewed, as well as Owen's daughter Athena, as well as 2 members that work for the charity, the Owen Hart Foundation, Virginia Xavier and Tammy Christopher. So those are just 4 of the names that we'll be hearing from. Not sure what wrestlers may be or have been interviewed for this episode, but looking forward to seeing who all else would be interviewed and who else we'll be hearing from this episode. But, I'm looking forward to this as well as the Chris Benoit episode, in spite of, as I said on the Chris Benoit episode, we can't remember how he left here. We should remember him for what he left here, his body work in the ring, the matches that we remember him for. And the same thing with Owen Hart. We can't, just focus on how he left here. We have to remember what he left here, his body of work, as well as the memorable matches that he put on. As well as, speaking of his matches, WWE did release a DVD back in December of 2015 called Owen Heart of Gold. It was a DVD that they released, hearing from members of the Hart family as well as other WWE wrestlers and officials that knew Owen at the time. And there were various matches on that DVD as well. And, Bret Hart even did an interview after this DVD was released, and he was saying how, he wishes that the DVD could have had more to it, but given everything that happened with Owen's wife and the WWE, she has so much restraints that the WWE could only work with what they had, to make that DVD. But Bret Hart was stating that he wishes they could have been able to do more with the DVD, as well as he feels like, there could have been, the DVD could have been better than what it was. But I think it was a great DVD as well. It talked about Owen and his life, as well as, if you're an Owen Hart fan, you would love this DVD as well. So you hear from so many, family and fellow wrestlers, other WWE officials and those that knew Owen and loved Owen Hart. So again, we can look forward to this upcoming episode of Dark Side of the Ring regarding the life and times of Owen Hart. And again, just looking to see who else may be involved in this. So not sure what wrestlers may have been interviewed, or if they just started with this. And speaking of Dr. Hart and Owen, Owen Hart and Chris Benoit were good friends. So given that they're still getting everything ready for season 2 of Dark Side of the Ring, we may hear comments from her regarding the Chris Benoit double murder suicide, or they may be just filming just for the Owen Hart episode. But again, Chris Benoit and Owen Hart were good friends. They both came up in the Hart family dungeon together. So we may hear some comments from Dr. Hart in regards to the Chris Benoit episode as well. Or, it may just be hearing from her for just this Owen Hart episode only. But, we'll just have to wait till that upcoming season for the season 2 of Dark Side of the Ring. So there are 10 episodes scheduled for the second season. So, they talked about the Chris Benoit episode, of course, and now we're hearing that there'll be an Owen Hart episode. So this is something to look forward to for anyone that is an Owen Hart fan. I'll be looking forward to this myself. And speaking of the Chris Benoit episode, just found out a little more additional information that we'll be hearing from former WCW and WWE wrestler Dean Malenko, as he'll be giving his remarks and comments on the Chris Benoit episode as well. So if you get the chance and opportunity, please take a listen to the Chris Benoit episode that I did, as well as I hope you enjoyed this episode in regards to the upcoming Owen Hart episode of Dark Side of the Ring. And that's all I have to say on today. So don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Windy City Nitty Gritty, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, I'm Walter Hefner. God bless you guys, and take care.